Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Have you ever wished you had a magical pot that could cook up your favorite food whenever you wanted? Sounds amazing, right? But what if that magic went a little out of control? Today, we're diving into a classic tale that's all about that very idea. It's the story of the Magic Porridge Pot, a wonderful little adventure that teaches us a big lesson about gratitude, responsibility, and what can happen when we get a little too much of a good thing. So grab a comfy seat, and let's get started on this sweet and slightly sticky journey. Once upon a time, in a small, humble cottage, lived a kind and gentle girl with her mother. They were very poor, and often they had nothing to eat. The girl's stomach would rumble with hunger, and her mother would look at her with sad eyes, wishing she could provide more. One day, feeling especially hungry, the girl went into the forest to look for berries or roots. As she wandered deeper among the tall trees, she met a very old woman with kind, twinkling eyes. Seeing the girl's sad face, the old woman asked what was wrong. The girl explained how she and her mother were always hungry. The old woman smiled warmly and handed the girl a small, plain-looking iron pot. "This is a magic pot," she said. "When you are hungry, simply say, 'Cook, little pot, cook,' and it will fill with delicious, sweet porridge. When you have had enough, you must say, 'Stop, little pot, stop,' and it will stop cooking. Remember the words well." The girl's eyes widened with amazement. She thanked the old woman with all her heart and hurried back home, clutching the pot tightly. She burst into the cottage and showed her mother the magical gift. "Mother, our troubles are over," she exclaimed. Eager to see if it was true, she placed the pot on the table and said, "Cook, little pot, cook." Instantly, the pot began to bubble and filled up with warm, sweet porridge. It smelled absolutely wonderful. They both ate until their bellies were full and content. Then, the girl said, "Stop, little pot, stop!" And just like that, the cooking ceased. From that day on, they never went hungry again. They had delicious porridge whenever they wanted, and their lives were filled with comfort and happiness. One day, the girl went out to visit a friend in the village. While she was away, her mother felt hungry. She took out the magic pot and said, "Cook, little pot, cook." And sure enough, the pot started to fill with porridge. She ate her fill and felt very satisfied. But when it was time for the pot to stop, she realized she had forgotten the magic words. She tried saying, "No more pot," and "That's enough pot." But nothing worked. The pot just kept cooking. Porridge bubbled over the top of the pot. It flowed onto the table, then onto the floor. Soon, the entire kitchen was filled with porridge. It oozed out the door and into the street. The mother panicked, but the pot just kept on cooking. Porridge flooded the first house, then the next, and soon the whole village was being swamped by a river of sweet, sticky porridge. It was a disaster. The villagers ran from their homes, trying to escape the rising tide of breakfast food. It seemed like the entire world would be covered in porridge. Just then, the girl was on her way home. From a distance, she saw the incredible sight and knew exactly what had happened. She waded through the porridge-filled streets as fast as she could until she reached her cottage. She raised her voice and shouted, "Stop, little pot, stop!" Immediately, the pot stopped cooking. The porridge river came to a halt, but the village was still covered in it. And so from that day on, anyone who wanted to get back to their house in that village had to eat their way through the porridge first. So what can we learn from this wonderfully messy story? Well, the first lesson is pretty clear. Always remember the instructions. But on a deeper level, the story teaches us about responsibility. The magic pot was a wonderful gift, but it required care and respect. It shows us that even the best things in life, when not managed properly, can cause big problems. It's also a story about gratitude. The girl and her mother were given a solution to their hunger, a true miracle. Forgetting the simple words to control, it shows how easily we can take amazing things for granted. So the next time you get something wonderful, whether it's a gift, an opportunity, or even just a simple meal, remember to be thankful and responsible with it. Thanks so much for watching with me today. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tailies and lessons. See you next time.